Hey guys, come on in, come on in. What's good, unapologetic gang? What's good, YouTube? What's good, YouTube? Come on in, guys. So today I just felt it so heavy on my spirit, like just to talk to you guys about how obedience is better than sacrifice. And where did this even come from? So I was at this conference and we were talking about how sometimes we don't quite listen. We're not listening. I hope you guys can see me. It's like about to rain. You see that? It's about to rain so hard. But yeah, I wanted to get in before the rain comes. And so we started talking about how it was so important to be so obedient. Like, let's just talk about the first time I was obedient. Uh, and I ended up leaving to go to Mexico. I had $200 on a one-way ticket. I ended up writing a book. And then the second time, I was told to leave, and then COVID happened. And I didn't know where, but I was obedient. But there were times, even almost a year ago, I went to this very um, this conference put on by someone. It was exactly a year ago. I made a lot of videos about it. It's called The Vault, and I ended up meeting some friends, some people, some colleagues, and they were saying, "Oh, hey, we're gonna come see this comedy. Let's go check out this comedy act." And I ended up like, these are people from all over the world. All of us are business people. We just, are trying to get to the next level, or we're pivoting and we have random things kind of coming up. And so we go through all of these case studies. There's people coming from Russia, from Ukraine. There was people from lots of Slavic countries. There was people from Colombia. So it was really nice to have a group of worldly entrepreneurs, and we're all kind of discussing this. Like, what are we going to do next? Where's our next step? Where are we going? And in this, there was this American guy. He said, "Look, I really want to go see this comedian. I just met him, and we're in Hollywood. So, of course, we're going to run into a lot of celebrities, including the celebrities that we had access to at the time. Dustin Poirier, Phil, what's his name? He's like seven-time bodybuilder, tied with Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's gonna come to me in a second, but they were really nice guys, and so um, it was nice to Gary Karbachev. But this guy said, "Okay, this comedian's coming." And the Russian guy looked at me and he said, "This is our comedy." And he's like, somebody would say something with a straight face and let's eat. But I was like, I think he's right. It's gonna suck. And I should have just been like that in my spirit that said, just don't go. I just went anyways, which was just like, why would I do that? I went anyways. So what I did, so after that, so after that, so sorry. So after that, I said, okay. But I want you guys to ask yourself, what are you doing as a place of disobedience? So you're not really like being obedient. I got the messages like, quit your job, quit your job, quit your job. This was the time to be obedient. So a lot of times we talked about how delay is going to be the cause of this. Now, if we actually look inside of First Samuel 15:22, Samuel said the Lord brought him great delight in burnt offerings and sacrifices in obeying the voice of the Lord. It is, behold, to obey is better than sacrifice. So in this, I also about 2 years ago, I have a YouTube video. I talked about, you guys, the future is digital. It's time to quit your 9 to 5. Now, when is it going to be a time where we're not going to be obedient? Like, this is going to be a huge problem if we're not going to be obedient, right? So if we look to the times where we have to the fear starts setting in, right? Well, I'm actually comfortable here. I have to go and do this, or I have to go and um, send X, Y, and Z. I have to take care of my family. I have to do this. It's the fear of just being comfortable. So if you're following something and you're not in a space of obedience, you're not being faithful to your own faith, that's going to cause problems. This is going to cause a lot of problems. Let's just say, had I not left had I been disobedient and not left to go to Mexico the first time, that would have been problems. If I didn't leave from my house, and when God said leave, I would have been in the middle of COVID. Like one of the Washington State was actually hit the hardest, one of the hardest places that was hit. So it was so important for me to have that obedience so I know what's right. Now, I want to talk about even in the smallest of ways. This is not just the most striking example of principle that we find in Samuel 1, but this is just, we can't have this delight in the small things, right? God told me when I was on my face, don't go back to the land. Do not go back to that land. So if this land for you is a place of disobedience, if this land for you is a place of pain, if it's a bad relationship, or it's really important that you not go back to that land. Do not go back to the land. This is what I was told. Don't go back to the land. So just obey. If whatever that is, if you've been taken out of something, that's important for you to not go back to the land. Don't go back to the land. Obey even in the smallest ways. So if Holy Spirit said change your clothes and you don't do that, then you're sacrificing. And it's better to obey than to be in sacrifice. I would have sacrificed a lot of happiness and freedom if had I not left. It would have been very hard had I not left. So that's why I'm sharing with you guys. It's really important for us to be in a space of obedience as opposed to sacrifice. So where else can we see, different forms of obedience? Like we can even look at Gideon. We can look at how Gideon, when, oh my goodness, this is like probably, or yes. So Gideon was getting ready to face a whole army, and he's like, God, I don't know, what am I going to do? Where are you? Where are you, God? Like, where are you? What should I do? What next? If he had freaked out and just not and brought all the soldiers with him, not every single one of them, and tested them, that would have caused problems for everybody. So in this situation, it's much easier for us to just obey, So if you have to quit your 9 to 5, what is another way to do that? Can we get on our face and ask God, okay, you told me to do this, so what is the next step? The fear of being broke comes up. But we have to remember that that was not what God gave us. God did not give us that spirit of fear. We have to go to the spirit of entrepreneurship. We're going to look into that. We're going to look into what is the spirit of entrepreneurship? How does that affect us in our lives? What direction are we going to be able to move forward in the spirit of entrepreneurship? So I want you guys to take that with you. I want you to continue to just think really hard. What is that? Where does that come from? What is my sacrifice? And where can I be obedient? And where are the places where I've kind of not been honest, or I have not been in a place of obedience? Like where is that coming from? And who can I invite into my space, as we were talking about, like the leagues of friends and the type of social interactions that are going to help lead me to that good place? Wish you the best.